Under Miami's afternoon sun, a new chapter in the World Baseball Classic will unfold. The Dominican Republic arrives with a roster built to dominate. And after a shocking group stage exit in 2023, redemption is the only goal. Standing in their way, an overlooked contender, the Netherlands. A roster filled with major league talent and big game experience. Superstars on one side, determination on the other. A statement game on baseball's biggest international stage.
Welcome to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on Fox, presented by Capital One. And today in Miami, it's Pool D play as the Netherlands and the Dominican Republic lock up Xander Bogaerts and Fernando Tatis meeting once again. This star-studded Dominican Republic team, one of the favorites in the World Baseball Classic, trying to continue their unbeaten stretch through the early stages of this tournament. Hello again, everybody. Alongside my partner, John Smoltz, I'm Kevin Kugler. We'll hear from Tom Verducci coming up in just a moment. For the Netherlands to get to this point, it took some heroics from one of their best players in Ozzie Albies.
Yeah, two Hall of Fame managers. Andrew Jones was the benefactor of this three-run homer. It couldn't have come at a more important time to give him a chance against this Dominican team. Albies, of course, the face of the Atlanta Braves, but really the moment, and for his country and for his team, you couldn't script a better scenario for them to face the Dominican Republic, and they're going to have to rely heavily on the Major League Baseball talent. They're not deep with Major League Baseball talent. They have stars, they're young, but they're trying to pull up a mammoth upset.
Yeah, this is a team, as manager Albert Pujols says of the Dominican Republic, that is a dream team, and he doesn't throw that around lightly. And when you look at the stars that shined in Game 1, you can understand why he says that.
Yeah, it's just a moment of when that offense is going to unleash. They have stars all the way. It truly is a dream team. This guy is managing one of the greatest teams the Dominican Republic will have, and the sky's the limit, really. The pressure's on them. They're one of the favorites, as you mentioned, and for two Hall of Fame managers, this has got to be one of the coolest experiences come full circle.
Now, you're talking about a star-studded team against a team of upstarts trying to figure out a way to knock off the Dominican Republic. Netherlands, Dominican Republic, two Hall of Famers managing against one another, next on Fox. Netherlands and Dominican Republic, first pitch is coming from Lone Depot Park in Miami. You see Pool D standings, Venezuela 2-0, Dominican Republic 1-0. They've got a heavy schedule over the next few days. Netherlands now 1-1. Time to welcome in the third member of our crew and say hello to Tom Verducci.
Well, thanks, Kevin. The Dominican Republic lineup is loaded. 7 All-Stars, 4 of the 8 richest contracts in baseball. Shortstop Eric Gonzalez is not among those stars. A week ago, he was sitting at home hoping to play in Mexico. And then shortstop Jeremy Pena broke a finger. Gonzalez added to the team as a backup. Today, shortstop Geraldo Perdomo is out sick. And that is how Eric Gonzalez, at the age of 34, finds himself in the starting lineup of this dream team. He has not played in the major leagues in 4 years, but comes with high praise from manager Albert Pujols, who called him the greatest fielding shortstop in our country. Kevin.
I mean, you're talking about some pretty significant praise. Eric Gonzalez, when Jeremy Pena went down with the fractured tip of his right ring finger during the exhibition game on Wednesday, here comes Eric Gonzalez, and here he is in the starting lineup. He played in Miami. That was his last stop and his 7-year tour of the big leagues in 2022. And a pitcher on the mound that certainly has experience not only on the stage but in the big leagues, Luis Severino.
Yeah, he's been through everything, coming off some injuries, getting back to the big leagues. Now with the Athletics, he's got the right position to lead this team in the Dominican Republic. He knows, even though it is in the middle of spring training, he just has to give his offense a chance to do their thing. And that's the pressure that the Dominican team has. They just have to do little things because talent is going to win them a lot. But as their manager, Albert Pujols, says, it's what you do between the lines now that matters.
The lineup that he will face starts off with Cedar Rafaela, Drew Jones, who's being managed by his father, Xander Bogaerts, Ozzie Albies, the hero of yesterday, Didi Gregorius, Hendrik Clementina, Remy Profar, Chadwick Trump, and Ray Patrick Ditter, the 9 for the Netherlands. And really the talent is stacked to the top of this lineup for the Netherlands against Severino.
Yeah, and Andrew Jones shifting that lineup a little bit, putting his son up higher. Of course, I played with Andrew forever, one of the greatest center fielders ever to play, inducted in the Hall of Fame. He is the face of his country. He's what started this, and he created a culture that now he's trying to continue as a manager. And look, they are a big underdog. Even though they have been here, done that, they're facing a great team.
Rafaela puts it on the ground. First test for Gonzalez. The throw across in time to get the speedy Rafaela. How is it always that when the spotlight is on you, you get tested right away?
Baseball has a way of finding you, whether it's your first big moment or making an error. The ball will come right back to you.
And up to the challenge right out of the gate, Eric Gonzalez. In his strongest suit as a fielder. Here's Drew Jones, and the first pitch is high. That fastball from Severino. Jones so far 3 for 6 in this World Baseball Classic. 22-year-old in the Diamondback system looks at ball 2 outside.
Well, the reason this tournament's so unique, besides the fandom of the people that are coming to root for their country, the players have to exceed spring training normalcy, meaning they have to get ramped up and ready to execute earlier than they ever have. And this being probably the 3rd or 4th start for Severino, he's trying to execute in the middle of spring training with a pitch limit and trying to deliver the best performance he can for his country.
Yeah, he had 1 spring training start. He had 1 start in the exhibition, and in the midst of all that, he's been working on a little different delivery. He's adjusted the grip on his changeup. He's trying to tinker a little bit. And then to come in here on a higher stage with a little more competition, that can't be an easy line to walk if you're a pitcher.
And the reason he's the right guy is he's been through everything. So it's just a game of adjustments and mindset, because spring training for every veteran is exactly that. Working on everything you need to work on, upgrading your pitches, getting ready for the long haul of the season.
The 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled away. Incidentally, no ABS in the World Baseball Classic, so you will not see a challenge of a pitch outside the zone like we've seen throughout spring training early. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming to Drew Jones. The 2nd overall pick in the 2022 draft, and he looks at a beautiful sweeper for a strike. And Severino fired up. You don't get that excited on the mound when you're pitching at Goodyear.
No, you don't. This is a quality pitch on a 3-2. He's got one of the best breaking balls. And look, you know, pitch counts are very important because they're limited on what they can do. As this series and as the teams progress, you get an elevated pitch count.
First pitch swinging, lined off the bat of Bogaerts to center, and Julio Rodriguez barely had to move to make that catch. Severino retires the Netherlands 1-2-3 in the top of the 1st. So many of you are getting ready for your fantasy baseball seasons. I mean, be honest, if you drafted this as your lineup, you'd probably win the league. I mean, look at this batting order. Tatis, Marte, Soto, Guerrero, Machado, Caminero, Rodriguez, Austin Wells, and Eric Gonzalez. And who gets to face this murderer's row? Arai Franson, the right-hander for the Netherlands, who starts off Fernando Tatis Jr. inside for ball 1.
Yeah, they're going to have to piecemeal this pitching staff through a gauntlet of an offense. And when I say piecemeal, it means 1 pitch at a time. Try to create as less traffic as possible, because this lineup is so difficult to get through without damage.
And for Franson, who will be pitching for the Winnipeg Goldeyes in the American Association, an independent league coming up this season. The last start he made in American professional baseball was with the Daytona Tortugas, A-ball in the Reds chain in 2023 against the St. Lucie Mets on September 6, 2023. No offense to the St. Lucie Mets of 2023. This lineup is a little different than that one.
Yeah, I'm dating myself with this next explanation that I'm going to give you here in a second, but.
And it's ball 4. Tatis draws the leadoff walk.
You know the game Frogger?
I do know the game Frogger, yep.
You try to get across the traffic one car at a time, and that's what it's going to be like right here. It's going to be trying to get through this lineup one batter at a time without the damage of getting hit in the Frogger explanation.
Who's the gator on the log in this lineup? You get through the traffic, and then you get snatched up by the alligator on the log. Ketel Marte with Tatis at first, and the first pitch is high, ball 1.
We've already seen in this World Baseball Classic what happens when, like, a USA lineup had 17 walks, and that's the natural thing when you're just. I've said it in the big leagues all the time. The pitcher on the mound, the hitter in the box, somebody knows who's better, and the goal is not to convey who that is, right? And so the pitcher on the mound, even though he knows every guy in that box is better, he's got to do the best fake job he's ever done to feel like he's not intimidated and make quality pitches.
And starting off 6 balls and 2 strikes is not the road that Franzen thought he would be hoeing early in this one. Not an easy task when you've got Soto on deck, Guerrero to follow, Machado next. Where's the break? And that pops out of the glove of Chadwick Trump, and Tatis will take second. And a 3-ball, 1-strike count on Ketel Marte.
Marte just keeps getting better and better and better, and this ball just slides out of his hand. You know, you can't prepare, and I'm sure Andrew Jones has got his team completely prepared, but you can't go into a game saying we have to play perfect.
Swing and a miss, chase that fastball, and it's 3-2.
But that's the sense you get.
Yeah,
they're going to have to play perfect.
And playing perfect at this time of year, at this progression, can't be easy.
No, not at all.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Tatis at second in the first. And it's ball 4. Back-to-back walks with a pass ball sandwiched in between, and quickly 2 on, nobody out for Juan Soto.
One thing, and the beautiful thing about baseball is the momentum is your next day starting pitching. Like last night couldn't have been a bigger moment for the Netherlands, right? That carryover effect comes to the park. Everyone feels good. You feel like, man, we can compete. But then quickly you'll find out by your next day starting pitcher whether that momentum carries over. And you could see a little bit of nerves, a little bit of mechanics, getting outside. He's getting underneath the ball and fading away to the first couple hitters. So
already activity in the bullpen. We talked with Andrew Jones beforehand, and this was always designed to be more or less a bullpen day. Try to get through as best you can against this lineup.
And there's a lot of alpha males in that locker room in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, my goodness.
Each one just steps into the box and they can be that guy.
Soto certainly can. He had designs on that with that swing. 0-1 the count. Guerrero and Machado to follow. 2 on, nobody out in the first. And the 0-1 taken for a strike. Dominican Republic 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position against Nicaragua on Friday when they won 12-3. Remember, that was a close game until the 6th, and then they broke it open. The 0-2 to Soto.
Now, this is where Soto is unique and plays well beyond his age. Generational player, of course, but 2 strikes doesn't bother him. He spreads out a little bit more. He'll trust his hands. Still can hit for power with 2 strikes.
Big rip and a miss, and Franzen bouncing back from back-to-back walks strikes out Juan Soto, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, big deep breath right there, because that helps settle your nerves. You know you're not in the game long, and that's the worst part, I think, about a tournament when you're starting or pitching. You know you're not in long, so you want to make the best of your performance, and sometimes you can press that into a lot of pitches in 1 inning.
Here's Vlad Guerrero First pitch strike. Imagine the butterflies, the moment for this young man on the mound, Arai Franson, who is going to pitch in independent baseball this year. But first, this gauntlet, this juggernaut, and then you start the day with back-to-back walks, and you've got to try to extricate yourself from that jam with Soto, Guerrero, and Machado.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide on the mound. It's a lonely place when you don't find the strike zone.
The 1-1. Fouled back, and Guerrero down 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But on the flip side, he's just got to be a pitcher that hopes maybe the timing of what we talked about spring training. Hitters are not locked in. Soto's probably not going to swing and miss at that pitch too many times during the regular season.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Guerrero. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I had the privilege of calling that epic World Series last year, and this guy carried a country on his back and truly became the player he always wanted to be, and waiting for that moment, oh so close for the Blue Jays to win the World Series.
Just missed with the change, and it's full 3-2. He reached base 44 times in the postseason last year.
Unbelievable.
I mean, look at those numbers through 18 games. That OPS is absurd. The 3-2, runners go. Lined into left field. That'll drop down for a base hit. Tatis will score, and the Dominican Republic with a 1-0 lead.
Albert sent the runners knowing that Vlad Guerrero is not going to swing and miss too many times. Trust the hitter. And the only thing you avoid there is a line drive double play. He got the base hit, easy run scored. Just a really professional hitter.
Here's Manny Machado with runners at first and second, and Franson starts the at-bat with a slider for a strike. Had to navigate around Didi Gregorius over there at third to find his way home. The 0-1. Now 0-2 on Machado.
Guys know what's at stake, and they know the prize they're trying to get to, and they're as equipped as any team in this tournament to do it.
On the ground up the middle, backhanded by Albies to second for 1 and on to first, and he threw it into the stands, and a run will score. 2-0 the Dominican Republic. The return throw into the seats, and Pujols checking to see if he needs to appeal the play at second.
Well, this was a very risky play, getting to the bag and then having to navigate the runner, because the runner has to slide and avoid contacting the infielders.
Did Bogarts beat him?
Just barely.
Marte scoring on the error. And Junior Caminero takes ball 1. .45 home runs. The second most in Major League Baseball history for a player in their age 21 season. Only Eddie Matthews had more than Caminero. And this is the luxury Albert Pujols has with this lineup. You have Junior Caminero batting 6th. Julio Rodriguez, who never hit below 3rd last year with Seattle, batting 7th. On the ground, slow roller to the left side. Franson with no play. That'll be an infield hit for Caminero, and the inning continues for J-Rod.
Super frustrating when you know the lineup they have, and then you get this infield hit to just salt in the wounds of how hard it is to get through them anyways, to get 3 outs without giving up a run.
Julio Rodriguez 3 for 5 with a home run so far in his 1 game in the WBC. The 3-time All-Star coming off a nice bounce back year. 32 homers, 95 runs driven in. '30th pitch coming here for Franson. You mentioned it, John. Everybody's on a limit. 65 pitches is the limit for starters in this first round of games, and Franson wasn't ever going to go to 65, most likely. But with activity behind him in the pen, we'll see if he can get out of the first. The 2-1. Good slider, 2-2. Rodriguez with runners at the corners. Franson ready, Machado at third, Cabanero at first. And the 2-2. In the air to center field. Rafaela is there. Plenty of room to make a play. And the side is retired. Well, Guerrero got him started with the base hit, and the Dominican Republic feeling good early. 2 on the board through 1. 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks for the Dominican Republic in the first. A 2-0 lead. Show your country pride at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic World Baseball Classic jerseys, caps, t-shirts, and more. Visit MLBshop.com, the official source for all your World Baseball Classic gear. Luis Severino staked to a 2-0 lead, and the first pitch swinging. Ozzie Albies comes up empty. Good start for the Dominican Republic in this one. And Albies, the hero of yesterday for the Netherlands, takes strike 2.
Yeah, that homer will be remembered by him for a long, long time. And he's had so many big hits in the major league career with the Atlanta Braves.
And he ropes this one foul.
But it gave him a fighting chance. Even if they don't win this game, there's still a chance in their final game to qualify and move on. There's a lot of details that have to be worked out with tiebreakers and runs and all the things that come into pool play, but they're just hoping to be in this game as long as possible. You know, if this was a regular season game, to be honest, the Netherlands would come here going, we have to outscore the Dominican Republic. I mean, the reality is they're going to score runs. We have to score more. Because of the lack of depth that they have in the pitching rotation, that's the reason you're feeling that way. Look, they've created a talent pool in a very small country, and they've been put on the map. Per capita, probably have more major league players than any other country based on their size.
Albies stays alive, 1-2.
But when you look down the rosters and you see affiliations to organizations, and you come up with there isn't a lot of affiliations on the Netherlands team, that just tells you where they are currently in developing some of those pitchers and some of those players to fill the gap.
Albies in the air to shallow right. Tatis coming on to make the catch, and there's one away. Well, that's the biggest difference when you look at this Dominican Republic team. It's a lineup that's hit 1,910 career Major League Baseball home runs.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Kingdom of the Netherlands, there's a few guys who are still currently in the big leagues, a couple that used to be, a couple that haven't been in a long time, and a couple that never have been.
Yeah, and that's why, you look, I mean, the DR is playing right now. They're not really concerned with when the Netherlands beat them twice and shocked the world. But that's probably in the back of their mind, like, we're not letting that happen again. There's so much pride in these countries to come together and compete every 3 years in this WBC.
Didi Gregorius with a mighty swing, lost his lumber. He'll go back and get it. It's 1-1.
You get great stories. You get big moments. You get young players getting introduced and playing for, in some cases, their childhood idol in Andrew Jones, who represents, and not only the Hall of Fame, but what he did in his career for his country.
Didi Gregorius, 36-year-old veteran, lines this one to right. That ball is well hit. Tatis at the track, leaping up, and that is off the top of the wall. It is a home run. It hit that fence above the wall, and Didi Gregorius, with his second World Baseball Classic home run in his career, gets the Netherlands on the board.
Got to have moments like that. Maybe he's coming back after a homer like that, but that is a big swing. And again, stay competitive, stay close. You never know. This ball was supposed to be away, and actually middle away, and Didi, who covers a lot of that plate back when he was playing, wrapped that one just over.
And Hendrik Clementina, the designated hitter, fouls it off. So Gregorius against his former teammate with the Yankees, Luis Severino. Lines that home run, his first hit of this WBC after an 0-for-7 start. Clementina in the air to right center. Rodriguez will call off Tatis and make the catch for the second out. There's Andrew Jones, 10-time Gold Glove, 5-time All-Star. We were talking with him before the game, and he brought up the moment that he first met you. Yeah. And he suggested that you threw behind him the very first time you met him. Is this an accurate statement?
I don't remember that. I do not remember that.
I mean, he looked right at you and said, he threw right behind my head the first time I saw him.
I remember when this uber-talented young player came to spring training, lightning off the bat. I make no bones about it. He's the greatest I've ever seen playing center field. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to be biased, but I got to see him, and I got to benefit from him. And he just never, he was never not in the right spot. And he just had the ability, the feet, the intuitive, the break, everything you could want. And he took away doubles and triples. And look, when Maddox and Glavine pitched, he had the day off. When I pitched, he was busy.
Strikeout of Profar, but Didi Gregorius gets the Netherlands on the board with a home run to right, and a 2-1 game as we head to the bottom of the second in Miami. All right, Franson ready to go in the bottom of the second inning. His team down a run, 2-1. And for more on this right-hander, we check in with Tom Verducci.
Yeah, as we know, everybody in this tournament is playing for their homeland. But Uri Franson has extra motivation. He's looking to impress a major league team to sign in affiliated baseball. He was dropped from the Reds farm system after last season, as you mentioned, signed with the independent Winnipeg Goldeneye. Now, that team, that league, actually has a salary cap. The cap is $30,000 a month, not per player, per team. Juan Soto, the Dominican left fielder, makes $8.5 million per month. Quite the disparity.
Little bit of a difference when you're talking money in the American Association versus the big leagues.
And you know he's got some anxious moments, and right now it's showing up in his mechanics. That front shoulder is just not staying quiet enough to be consistent on his secondary pitches. So if he could use that front shoulder a little quieter, he makes good pitches. There's a perfect example of what happens when you get too fast downhill. You're not going to locate, and you're not going to have the quality pitch. That is understandable. A little anxious against really good hitting that he's facing today.
Inside strike to Austin Wells, and the count evens up 2-2. What you think about that? There are such different motivations, and sometimes a variety of them for everybody in this tournament. And for a young man like this, still 24 years old, just trying to find his way back to affiliated baseball, but also pitch his country on in the World Baseball Classic as he gets Wells to strike out swinging.
Well, absolutely. It's the greatest moment of his life. But the problem is if you treat it like that and don't focus on making quality pitches, then the moment gets too big. Look, we've seen a 17-year-old former former pitcher and Contreras pitch in the World Baseball Classic against USA. And we're seeing guys who've been out of the game approaching their 5th World Baseball Classic tournament. There's another prime example of what happens when you're not mechanically sound, and you can understand that. So yeah, this moment for a lot of countries, for a lot of players, could be a breakthrough, could be an opportunity.
1 ball, no strikes. Number 9 hitter Eric Gonzalez. Speaking of people seeking an opportunity, the young man at the plate, Tom talked about him earlier, had been sitting on his couch waiting for an opportunity, and then Jeremy Pena fractured the tip of his right ring finger. He gets the call, and here he is starting at shortstop today for the Dominican Republic.
You just never know, and right now wearing that uniform and going on this ride as long as he can will be an absolute fun journey for this young man. And he may not have as much pressure as the rest of his teammates do, because they're expected to get pretty far in this tournament, if not win it all.
2 balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. 2 of the 4 outs that Franson has recorded have been via a swinging strikeout. Looking for another one here against Gonzalez. And there's a cold 3rd strike. Gonzalez caught looking. 3rd strikeout for Franson. 2 up, 2 down in the Dominican 2nd.
There's a lot of people that have a tough task when it comes to a tournament like this, condensed in the amount of time it is. Managers have the toughest task. Managing their stars is one thing, but managing their stars when they're not mechanically right at the plate, or their swings, and getting the hot guy in there, and knowing when to pull a guy and when to ride a hot streak. Because as they both said, it's about execution, it's about the now, and not about a week from now.
Well, and mechanically right is harder to have nailed down on March 8th than it will be at the end of this month. I mean, all these guys who are in affiliated baseball are in spring training right now. And Tatis is...
That hit the bat?
I thought that hit him, but it looks like it's called foul, and it hit the bat. Albert Pujols looking on, saying, hey. He goes, did it hit your arm? No, hit the bat. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Tatis, who walked and scored in the 2-run first.
We're in this generation of father-son combos, and this is one of the most electric players. Of course, he's been through his challenges both on and off the field, physically too, and if he could stay healthy, my goodness, can he put up a monster season.
The 2-1, and it's foul. 2-2. It's funny you talk about father-son duos. He's one of 6 in this tournament to play. Before this year, there had only been 2 father-son duos to ever play in the WBC.
It's crazy.
6 this year.
This generation of young players, they're more ready.
In the air to right. Long run out there for the first baseman, Profar. And Jeremy Profar in foul territory makes the catch. A 1-2-3 second for Franson on the hill.
Welcome back to Miami. I'm with the Kingdom of the Netherlands manager, Andrew Jones. All right, Franson walked the first two batters, then it looked like it got his feet on the ground. What did you see, Andrew?
Well, he was a little tough the first inning, but he got down and, came out. We're going to try to stretch it as much we can because, all the restrictions, the pitchers that we have. So, the pitching really good. I'm very proud of him. We're just trying to make less mistake than the other team.
You got your first win as manager yesterday, very dramatic fashion. There was a ceremony after the game. Drew, your son, presented you with a game ball, and you had Kenley Jansen speak to the group. What was that moment like for you and for the Netherlands?
It's awesome. It's awesome when you win. It's always fun when you get W. So it was awesome for him to present me the ball. First win as a manager, but this is not over yet. We got a couple of big games left, so let's see if we can pull up this one.
Thanks so much, Andrew.
Thank you.
I don't have any historical data to back this up, so you could probably shout me down on this, John, but this might be the most prominent managerial matchup in the history of baseball. Albert Pujols versus Andrew Jones.
Absolutely, and how important they both are, not only to their country, but the game of baseball.
Chadwick Tromp chasing that one outside the zone, and he's out number one in the third. You're talking two Hall of Famers, a 700 home run hitter in Albert Pujols, and Andrew Jones, as you've said, one of the best to ever play the position in center field.
10 gold gloves, always posting, played almost every game. And, they're going to demand a lot from their teams. Now, Andrew can only demand, well, he can't demand as much as Albert can based on the players he has. But, he understands the importance for the future of Team Netherlands. And as I stated, look, you're talking about a population of 150,000 versus 11.3 million. I mean, that is the gravity of how big of, you could say, David and Goliath, right? Based on the amount of players that the Dominican Republic have put in.
And Ray Patrick Ditter with a liner into right for a base hit. The left fielder aboard with one out, his second hit of this WBC.
Now, he has a lot of speed, and in the past, you were able to steal bases off of Luis Severino. So I wonder if Andrew will get the wheels going for this young man to try to create something on the base path.
That was always the catch with his game. He had the speed, he had the ability in the outfield, but the bat never seemed to catch up quite with that speed. He played in Winnipeg last year. We've talked about Winnipeg, where Franson will play this year, assuming he doesn't connect with an affiliated team. We'll see if Ditter moves with Cedon Rafaela at the plate. He grounded out to start this ball game in the first. Ditter a lead, no movement, and Severino misses high for ball two. 2-0 the count now on the talented member of the Boston Red Sox, Cedon Rafaela.
I think Boston's going to surprise a lot of people this year.
On the ground to short, charging Gonzalez to second to get the lead runner. With Rafaela's speed, that's all you'll get, and there's two gone. So it'll be up to Drew Jones after this ground out.
You can tell how smooth he is with his hands. I mean, playing shortstop is the premier position when you get a lot of that action and you're involved in a lot of ground balls and plays up the middle.
And I guess the benefit of needing to fill a position on this roster is if you have to fill a position, find the best glove you can at shortstop. Any hitting that he provides is a bonus with this group.
Sure is.
There goes the runner. Fouled back. Great jump by Rafaela.
Ooh, that was one you love to have back. And put the take sign on there, but the hitter's going to see with two outs and see one he likes and try to crush it.
Well, Drew Jones, when he was a kid, would practice hitting tee balls off water bottles, and this one was teed up very nicely for Drew Jones. He was a golfer for a long time, but, and you, I'm sure, can vouch for this, Atlanta summers were a little too hot for him to continue that golfing trend, and he opted for baseball instead. Tried out for his high school team in his freshman year and was a star by his junior season. Swing and a miss. Good sweeper from Severino, and it's 1-2. Minor League Defensive Player of the Year last year, Drew Jones. In the Arizona system, second overall pick in the 2022 draft. There goes the runner, and a 1-2 swung on and missed. And Severino works around the one-out single. Still 2-1 Dominican Republic in the third.
Welcome back to Miami with Dominican manager Albert Pujols. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. takes a 3-2 changeup and hits a rocket to get you on the scoreboard. As a connoisseur of great hitting, what impresses you most about Vlad?
I mean, you saw it right there. He was off balance 1-1, tried maybe do a little bit too much, but he slowed everything down, worked the count, and, you know, made a good swing, you know, on that 3-2 changeup. So, I mean, he's a professional hitter and know how to make those adjustments.
Albert, everybody wants to talk to you about your lineup. You have been raving about your bullpen. What do you like about your bullpen, and how is it set up today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the power arms that we have. I think, you know, we're in a good shape right now because a lot of those guys, you know, didn't throw a lot of pitch on Friday. So we have our bullpen, our whole bullpen active. So, I mean, I love the attitude. I think the balance, you know, how we build this bullpen, you know, was pretty good. You know, Wellington did a really good job on the things that we needed, and I think we're in pretty good shape. So hopefully Severino can go 1 or 2 more innings and then give the ball to the bullpen.
Thanks so much, Albert.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, unlike the Netherlands, the Dominican has to be a little bit careful with their pitching because they have more games to play. They play again on Monday, and then they play Wednesday. And when you hit a certain pitch limit, as Marte draws the leadoff walk, you're not allowed to pitch the next day. It's just what Andrew Jones was talking about. He's got 3 pitchers on restriction that cannot play today out of his pen.
Yeah, this tournament, we talk about how great it is, but it is tough on managers. It has got so many individual organizational limits. And Andrew's going out possibly to make a change with that pitching. So we'll continue that after the break.
Yep, Eric Mendez is going to be the new pitcher to join this party. A 2-1 lead for the Dominican Republic with a pitching change in Miami. Welcome back to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on Fox, presented by Capital One in Miami. And a new pitcher for the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Eric Mendez. That's his minor league numbers, 5 years in the minors, pitching in Italy now as he takes the first pitch for a strike. So Arai Franson's day done. He's responsible for the runner at first. The control drove up that pitch count a little bit and forced him out of the game early. And Soto looks at ball 1. So Mendez, the 26-year-old right-hander, pitched out of the bullpen for the Netherlands in 2 games in the 2023 WBC. And Mendez missing low and away, and it's 2-1. Was in the Diamondbacks system, signed as an international free agent in 2017, got as far as high A and couldn't crack the ceiling after that. And Soto puts a charge into this one to right. Going back is Jones. He's going to have room at the track to make the catch. And there's one away. Just got underneath that one, did Juan Soto, and there's one gone in the third.
Yeah, just missed that one. Going to give some intel to his teammate before he gets into the box.
Seems unfair to you pitchers that these guys are sharing that kind of information.
Yeah.
No honor among hitters as far as pitchers are concerned. Here's Vlad Guerrero. His single got the Dominican Republic on the board in the first. Big cut and a miss on that slider.
One thing about Guerrero and even Soto and really a majority of these hitters in the lineup, you might be able to get them to swing at a certain pitch a couple times in one at bat, but not three. You got it there. That's exactly right.
Charge down the line. That ball is well hit, and it is gone. A home run for Vlad Guerrero, and it's 4-1 Dominican Republic.
Well, right on cue. I mean, these are some of the greatest hitters in our game, and you have to invent ways to get them out because you can't get them out the same way every single time. And the quality of that pitch obviously wasn't as good as the first one, but this guy's in another level now since last year.
Signed that big extension at the start of last year, then backed it up as he puts on the custom home run jacket. My goodness, this team is loaded. 8 home runs in the postseason last year, his first of the WBC, and here's Manny Machado. 0-1 on Machado, who reached base and was left stranded at third in the first. Time bomb.
Oh, man. Cool jacket, cool moment.
You got jackets, necklaces,
dumbbell.
I mean, it's you got every prop you can have. Three balls and a strike to Machado. And there's ball 4.
Well, this breaking ball did not go in the right spot. It backed up, and it's a recipe for a launched ball. Every hitter will tell you they look for spin, but they look for spin with the big seams, and that one had to look great to Guerrero. When you get a small dot where those seams come together, that's when the hitters miss it.
He doesn't need any more pumping up. Caminero to the plate. He singled in the first. 4-1 Dominican Republic in the third. One and 0 the count. Caminero 3 for 5 now in the WBC. And a strike from Mendez. And the continued challenge for the Netherlands is how to keep up with this Dominican Republic as Caminero gets hit. Oh my.
He had no time.
And everyone up the road in Tampa, Florida, holding their breath right now as the centerpiece of that Rays offense dealing with this on his left arm.
Yeah, that catches you right at the end there. You just go usually completely numb. And I love when they go, where is the spot? Let me push on that spot. Is it right there?
Where does it hurt?
But that's usually the nerves in your fingers and just waiting for that to come back. It doesn't feel good. That's for sure.
You can see him kind of shaking that arm out right now. Well, that's a good sign.
We talked to his manager about the progression of this young, talented player, and he giving him some wisdom and how to navigate, how to get that best talent out of you and slow down. And because as he's explained to us, he goes, they don't have many ways of getting you out when you learn to not get yourself out.
Well, and how about a crash course in the middle of spring training from one of the best hitters ever?
And that's why really in the States, certain teams struggle with whether or not to send their young player, knowing the experience will be phenomenal, but they may not get the reps, they may not get the timing. That's the balance of this tournament, where veteran players can handle all that. They've been there, done that. But a Bobby Witt Jr. a few years ago, and just the maturation of young players, knowing you're going to kind of be a sponge, but you may not get the normal reps to get you ready.
It's a fine line to walk, I would think. And if you're an affiliated organization that is counting on somebody like Junior Caminero, you send him, you get those reps, then you hold your breath when he gets hit by a pitch on the elbow.
And that could have happened, you know, in a regular spring training game. But yeah, to your point, the mindset, if you're leading a country or managing a team and trying to bring about notoriety, not in the established countries that we already know, the mindset would have to change for the players to say, okay, this is what we're dealing with. Here's the travel. Here's the nuances. Because baseball players are creatures of habit. They know when spring training is about to happen. They know the time clock of the season to start. They're creatures of habit. And when you interrupt that creatures of habit, you need to overcome that mentally and not use it as an excuse.
Runners go on the 3-2 into center field. Coming on is Rafaela. He'll make the catch, and this will be an easy double play as he'll flip to second, and the side is retired. So a little gamble from Albert Pujols. He sends the runners and lines into a double play, but Guerrero with the big hit, and Guerrero with a home run to give the DR a 4-1 lead. The World Baseball Classic continues tomorrow as Team USA takes on Mexico at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox. John, you'll be a part of that call tomorrow. In Mexico, they've won their last 3 WBC games against Team USA, but this Team USA is a little different than other Team USAs with that roster.
They are, and they'll be very mindful of the last 3 games that the Team Mexico has had, and all the pressure on Team USA. Of course, the expectations to win another championship are right there in the forefront.
Paul Skeens going tomorrow for Team USA in that matchup with Mexico. Derek Skubal went yesterday, and our Ken Rosenthal asked him after his outing if he'd pitch again in the WBC, and he would not answer the question. He said, I'm going to just wait and not answer that yet. Skeens has already said he's going to pitch a couple of times, so you'll get to see him tomorrow against Mexico on Fox. The 0-2 to Xander Bogaerts from Luis Severino is outside, 1-2. Feels like an important inning for the Netherlands with Bogaerts, Albies, and Gregorius against Severino.
Yeah, it is. And again, you know, each player knows what they're up against. So it's not like, oh, I didn't see this coming being down 4-1. They have to be able to manage this game and keep it as close and just look for a break here or there. Like they got it last night with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. They'd rather not have that play into today, but they knew the task. They were going to have to be really good at the plate.
2-2, and Severino thought he had the strikeout looking. Instead, it's 3-2. Plate umpire Lance Barksdale says this one missed. Close. In the air to center field on the 3-2. Rodriguez barely moves for out number 1.
It's going to be interesting this year how teams manage the ABS system, and of course really comes down to just the catcher and the hitter, because a pitcher should never ever question a pitch. It should come down to the catcher and the hitter. And I think managers are going to look at it like, okay, I'm going to give you some freedom, and then if you get 3 wrong, you're done. You never get one in again. So it prevents the individual player getting away from the team concept and knowing space, time, and you just can't first pitch.
No.
It's got to be significant. It's got to be important in the scope of things.
Lined to right off the bat of Albies for a base hit. Well, the real question is going to be, can you look to other sports that have had a similar challenge system in certain ways? Basketball has a coach's challenge at the college level. NBA has had it. You have to really pick and choose your spots as to when it might carry the most impact.
Exactly, and that would start in spring training, carrying the message from a team and a manager to go, look, here's the premier situations we're looking to go after, and then here's the ones we don't want to see. Up by 4, 2 outs, and you're thinking about your batting average. I mean, there's going to be mistakes made by umpires. It's human, but the ABS system really is there for kind of the egregious ones, the 2-2 that gets a strikeout, or the 2-1 that gets to 3-1 or 2-2.
You might have seen the ABS used were it in the World Baseball Classic on that 3-1 pitch to Bogarts. Or rather that 2-2 pitch to Bogarts,
yeah,
that Severino thought he had strike 3 on. And you might use it earlier in a WBC because your pitchers have shorter lifespans on the mound. It would depend on the timing, of course, in a 4-1 game. Severino closing in. 65 pitches is the limit. And they've got activity in the bullpen as Gregorius fouls it away. Elvis Alvarado up for the Dominican Republic. Now you can exceed the 65 pitch limit if it occurs in the middle of an at-bat. You can finish that at-bat or that plate appearance. Not quite there yet. The 1-2 to Gregorius. Buzzed inside, a little too far inside, and it's 2-2.
And you got to do that to Didi because he can cover away. Now, throwing a pitch out off the plate and getting him to try and reach again, that's why they have the infield shifted the way they did, because he really likes to pull the ball. And that home run he hit, of course, pull side.
On the ground, flip to second for one. The throw to first, not in time to get Gregorius. A little bit slower developing with that extra hop toward the third baseman Machado.
Yeah, part of that is because of how far the second baseman had to come with that shift. And maybe it might have been. It's awkward to have the shortstop be the guy that turns, but there was a long distance to come, and that was just too long to turn that double play.
So 2 down for Hendrik Clementina, who flew out to center in the second inning. Didi Gregorius over at first. And Vlad Guerrero catching up. Big cut from Clementina. Quickly down a strike. Clementina signed back in 2013 by the Dodgers as an international free agent. Got as high as AAA with the Braves, never made it to the big leagues. 31 career games at the AAA level and was released by the Braves after the 2023 season. Played last year in the Mexican League, expected to come back this year. The 1-1. Fouled away, and it's 1-2 on Clementina. And that's the difference, as we've talked about, between these two rosters. Everybody's affiliated, it seems, with the Dominican Republic, and everybody's an all-star, it seems. And meanwhile, Hendrik Clementina and others are still trying to find their way in this game. "28-year-old down, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Once you're at this point, you want to stay with your team as long as possible. Because once you're eliminated, you go back to either nothing or your respective teams or the minor leagues, and the experience comes to a screeching halt. Like the adrenaline rush is off the charts, and then it goes like, oh, got to travel and get reacquainted back with my teammates.
Exactly. Or you're knocking on doors trying to find some teammates. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Clementina. Pitch number 60 for Severino coming up here. Swing and a miss. Luis Severino leaving on a high note. His 60th pitch, a strikeout. Dominican Republic with a 4-1 lead over the Netherlands with John Smoltz and Tom Verducci. I'm Kevin Kugler. Switch to T-Mobile and get free MLB.TV. Available March 24th through the 30th at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Now Luis Severino likely done getting high fives and handshakes. He's at 60 pitches, 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Excellent outing for Severino for the Dominican Republic. And the new pitcher on the hill now for the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Right-hander Dylan Wilson going to work against 8, 9, and 1 in the DR order. Austin Wells leading it off.
Yeah, Severino created no doubt. That was his goal. No doubt of, we're in a dogfight. Just do your part.
Wells in the air, shallow center. Rafaela is there. And there's 1 away in the 4th.
Product of the Seattle Mariners, I believe, right?
That is correct. Signed in January of 2023. He's just a 20-year-old. They think of him as a back-end starting pitcher by the time he climbs through the system, just with the Arizona Complex League and the Rookie League last year. A bright future, but a long way to go for this young man. Talk about accelerating the process facing this lineup.
Well, Andrew Jones made a comment about the pitching starting to be developed. They're good athletes. A lot of these kids, he said, when they were young, played shortstop and started learning how to pitch. And so he likes the future of where they're going because they just don't have the depth right now.
That hugs the line. Gregorius on the charge. The throw brought Profar off the bag, but he was able to get the tag in with the ball snow coning out of the glove for the second out.
Really good play. I mean, this is to be the ball's tailing in towards the runner, and that's the first baseman's nightmare when the ball and the runner get there at the same time. He at least had time to catch it without the collision and make the tag.
So 2 up, 2 down, and Fernando Tatis Jr. 0 for 1 today, going to work against the young right-hander. And Dylan Wilson's behind 2-0. The DR has scored in the first and third, 2 runs in each of those innings. They went down in order in the second. And Tatis out in front 3-0 with 2 outs here in the 4th. And 4 pitches all out of the zone. And Tatis Jr. will head to first. And Ketel Marte will bat with 2 down and a runner at first. A 4-1 lead for the Dominican Republic. They won 12-3 on Friday. Wrote a 6-run 8th in what was a tie game through 5. On the ground, diving stop by Profar. Excellent play at first, and the side is retired. 1 man left for the DR in the 4th, up 4-1. Great city of Miami, home to the WBC Pod D right now, Pool D, and then it will become the site of the semifinals and finals of the World Baseball Classic. New pitcher on the hill is Albert Abreu. The 6'2" right-hander. You see his numbers with the Yankees his last time in the States. He's been pitching in Japan, pitched in AAA Louisville last year after spending some time in Japan, going back there now. But you see those numbers for Abreu, the right-hander, who's the second pitcher for the DR. Jeremy Profar takes a strike.
Well, they have a lot of power arms in their bullpen, and they're going to rely on a lot of velocity and a lot of those arms to lock this game down.
And Profar in there for a strike. Now Jeremy Profar, the 30-year-old right-hander, stepping in, down 2 strikes against Abreu. And the pitch low for a ball. He's got some interesting footwear on, Tom Verducci.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the gold medal as far as the shoe game goes. Jeremy has himself and his 2 brothers on those shoes. And all the images are from when the brothers played for Curacao in the Little League World Series. Of course, older brother Jurickson ineligible to play. 15 minutes before their first exhibition game, the Netherlands learned that he was suspended by Major League Baseball for a failed drug test. Younger brother Jurdrick, just 18 years old, was signed by the Chicago White Sox in 2024, playing in their minor league system. All in the family.
Now he repped Curacao to Jeremy in the Little League World Series both in 2007 and 2008. Jurickson in 2004 and 2005. Jurdrick in 2019. Curacao in 07 made a deep run to the semis as this one's grounded towards the mound. Good pickup and throw by Abreu to retire Chadwick Trump for the second out of the 5th inning. That Curacao team in 07 lost to the Japanese team on a walk-off grand slam in the Little League World Series.
Well, that is in your kitchen right there, and he didn't panic when he bobbled it. Relied on that arm to throw a seed to first base. Machado letting him know that he was approving it.
Well, Machado's had a couple of good throws already in this World Baseball Classic, so if you're getting the approval from him from a throw from the left side, that's not a bad seal of approval.
He's ridiculous. I mean, he's one of the best you're ever going to see at third base. And of course, people are going to forget he was a shortstop. He's made it look such a seamless transition that I'm just telling you that 95% of his throws on the year are going to be chest high perfect to the first baseman, and you cannot find another player that would come close to that.
And they're at ridiculous angles. They're at impossible speeds. He's just phenomenal. Swing and a miss. Ditter down on strikes, and a 1-2-3 inning for Albert Abreu as we head to the bottom of the 5th in a 4-1 ball game. John Smoltz, you had a front row seat to what Vlad Guerrero was able to do in that postseason last year. 18 games, 8 homers, 15 runs driven in the ALCS MVP, on base 44 times in the postseason, and in the 3rd inning, here he goes again.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen a better performance throughout the postseason like I followed, and you knew it was a matter of time, and he's unlocked, he's healthy, he's got contract, is healthy, and he loves playing this game. And you know, his father was a unique hitter, a unique style, and he has his own uniqueness to it. A generational player that could play in any, much like the guy at the plate right here. He could play in any era. You can't say that about a lot of players based on their style, but their ability to get on base, hit for power, understand the strike zone, fantastic hitters.
New pitcher trying to deal with the heart of this order is Wendell Floranis, the 30-year-old right-hander making his 2nd career WBC appearance. He was the closer for this team in 2023. He was with the Orioles in the minors for those 4 years, and he looks That one low, and it's 2-1.
The other guy that used to do that at ease is their manager, and Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
He was comfortable taking strikes, comfortable with 2 strikes. It looked like he was sitting in a rock. I hated it. I didn't face him that much, but the numbers are not great. Couple homers, and one of them that went way through Big Mac land in St. Louis. And then I got a chance to play with him and understood why. You know, getting a chance to sit and see him play every day there in the second half of that season. It's just incredible when guys have this presence about them that they're not nervous, they're not jumpy. You can't get them to swing at the same pitch 3 times.
Well, look at Soto. Did he go around? He did not. And that's what he does. He takes walks. He's not afraid to walk. 896 walks through his age 26 season, the most in Major League Baseball history. Nobody ever got above 800. Mickey Mantle had 799. He's still hitting home runs. He's hit for average. He does it all.
And we're in this era where it's very confusing that the on-base percentage is king in analytic world, but he does both. He drives the ball. He'll hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's not just looking to walk. Some guys are looking to walk and could do damage but don't because of the sexiness of the new stats that are out there.
Right.
And these 2 guys here, they're in a subject by themselves.
1 ball, 1 strike to Guerrero. A single and a run scored. 3 runs driven in with that home run and that single.
See, to put it in context, a pitcher wants options of getting a hitter out, right? There's windows and there's places you can go where majority of hitters can't hit a certain pitch. Well, the style of pitching and the style of hitting has drastically changed today because of what they're asked to do. Hitters are looking to launch.
As Guerrero lines this one to center, Rafaela there for the out.
The argument will be a line drive hitter or the ball that doesn't launch. They don't like that. They want the ball in the air. And see, Guerrero's a different type of hitter. He doesn't fit the analytical mold, and so he becomes an exception. But what I'm basically trying to say is if you have a 1-swing plane at the plate, I can get you out multiple ways because you're just looking for the 1 mistake to launch. But if you can cover the plate with your barrel of the bat and keep it in the zone longer, I can't get you out the same way. There's less chances for me to be successful on the mound. We're getting more of those hitters, but we don't have enough of those hitters based on the reward system that baseball and the teams are asking their players to perform at.
So in other words, these hitters have narrowed your opportunity to get them out.
The elite guys.
Boy, what a jump at first, and there is absolutely no chance to throw out Soto. He had about a 5-step jump on Florianis before he even threw that pitch.
So the argument would be, as you see this walking lead, the argument would be, is a year where you strike out 190 to 200 times but hit 43 home runs considered a great year?
Right.
Well, that's kind of where we're at. But when you start seeing a generational hitter and you see what he can do in the postseason and he's not striking out and he's putting the ball in play and he still has some of the metrics that feel good, that is what makes it difficult to navigate around a lineup like that. And Toronto's complete lineup was the reason why they got to the World Series.
Fouled right back below us, and it's 2-1.
You know, when we unearthed all of this information, strikeouts didn't matter.
No.
They didn't want you to put it in play if it's at a low exit velocity. They'd rather you swing and maximize the ability to hit a ball over the fence. Homer's still king. I get all that.
And a liner into center field. That'll drop down for a base hit. Soto had to hold to see if it would be caught, so he'll advance to third. Machado with a single to center. Runners at the corners and 1 out. As I was growing up, a guy who epitomized the approach of now that I always think of as a guy like Rob Deere.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a high power guy, not a great average guy, and not a guy that was going to avoid a strikeout at the plate. But he would hit a lot of home runs, but it didn't carry with it the same sort of feel as that guy does now.
Yeah, the best way I can put it with the 2 guys we're talking about, and they have more than that, obviously, in this lineup. You don't want that guy up at the plate with a man on third, less than 2 outs. But the other guy you want at the plate, because you get a chance to strike him out, he's still trying to hit a homer.
Ball 1 outside to Caminero.
And as this young man develops, when he learns to be patient and not use his body as much in the mechanics of hitting, he is going to be a tough out.
He's got all the tools, but one of the areas that he struggled with last year is in a situation like this. Led the majors hitting into double plays last season. 31 double plays last year, the most for any hitter in over a decade. Popped up, foul territory, and out into the seats. On Friday, though, Junior Caminero did what he did so much last year. Hit one out.
See how he stays back, went the other way, wasn't jumpy, didn't get out in front, and on those ground ball double plays, that's not the case. Look, sometimes good pitching is going to get you out, no doubt, right? But what Albert Pujols is trying to explain to him is don't get yourself out on not so many good pitching or good pitches. And that's just a maturation process that you learn over time, that you start trusting your mechanics, sit there and trust your hands, and try not to do too much is a hard thing, especially in a tournament like this.
3 balls and a strike. Caminero on a line to left. Dinner looking up. It is gone. A 3-run blast for Junior Caminero. His second home run of the tournament. And the Dominican Republic has broken it open, up 7-1.
You don't think that feels good after he got hit? Well, no, he didn't get hit. Sorry about that, after he walked. But that home run feels great. That connection, that click of the bat, that is what Albert Pujols is trying to get to this young man who can unleash incredible talent.
424 with an exit velo of 116. And you're right, he did get hit. Remember, he got hit on the arm.
He did get hit. I got
that elbow.
I'm in already bad form. I'm one off of every hitter in my score sheet.
It is March 8th. You can't be expected to be in October 4th.
I agree with you on that.
It is March. It's spring training for everybody.
So he did get hit.
He did,
and
get hit.
That does feel like sweet revenge.
So he feels a lot better now. Although you'll notice he's lifting that barbell with his right hand and not his left hand. The left arm is where he took that one off the elbow, and a foul ball off the plate off the bat of J-Rod. $19 runs on the board so far in the WBC in a game and a half for the Dominican Republic. Julio Rodriguez is swinging a miss, and it's 1-2. And again, the depth of this lineup. See the tip that Guerrero's sharing. Like, hit the ball out. Hit it out to left. Oh, like that? Okay. The depth of this lineup, you have a guy like Julio Rodriguez batting in the 7 spot. 160 starts last year. He never batted anywhere other than first, second, or third for Seattle.
He has a lightning quick bat. We got into a little bit of a bad funk there for a while. Nice bounce back here. Was striking out a little bit too much. But this is top of the zone, and just using your hands, quiet line drive explodes off the bat.
The 2-2. And it's full to Rodriguez. Caminero still getting the congratulations in that Dominican Republic dugout. And it's ball 4 to Rodriguez. He draws the walk. What a shot. And what a shock to the system the World Baseball Classic has to be. You're leaving Lakeland, Florida. You're leaving Peoria, Arizona, and you're coming out to Miami in front of 30,000 fans who are desperate for you to win for your country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that mindset switch that you got to get on, and and they knew it going in. I mean,
Sure.
you're not surprised that it's happening. You're just trying to prepare your body. Some teams and players go deep into the postseason. They got a shorter turnaround. They've got to adapt to the mental part of, just don't have the proper rest. A lot of these guys play and are prepared a lot earlier than normal, and so they come in ready. And that's the attitude you got to have. You got to be ready sooner. I think of Team Japan, which already probably is qualified.
Right.
They've got a long journey. Of course, they started a little early for the rest, but then when they get here, for them to not turn around and go back, they have to keep winning because it's an elimination. So that could be one of the longest trips of pressure
for one game. Well, we've already seen Shohei with a grand slam. Seiya Suzuki had 2 home runs in a game. I mean, you came into this and you looked at the rosters. You looked at Japan. You looked at this Dominican Republic team. You looked at Team USA, and you said those are your 3 favorites. And I don't think we've seen anything yet in the World Baseball Classic to make you think anything other than those are the 3 favorites, right?
No, yeah. I mean, the offense for the U.S. is going to score runs, just like the offense here is going to score runs. Now, what's scary to think is they could have scored even more runs. They had 17 walks. And I think the first 6 or 7, they didn't even score on those walks. But their offense, and for Mark DeRosa, their manager, they know what's ahead of them.
The 3-1 hit in the air to right. Wells puts a charge into this one, and that ball is gone. Into the second deck for Austin Wells. 9-1 Dominican Republic. A high 5 on the board in the 5th via 2 long balls for the DR. And Austin Wells with his first hit of this World Baseball Classic, making it count, and a pitching change for the Kingdom of the Netherlands. A 9-1 lead for the DR, in control in Miami. A 9-1 lead for the Dominican Republic from the World Baseball Classic to all the spring training games. We've got you covered. Get personalized highlights and push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. Here's Eric Gonzalez, and the first pitch taken for a strike. The new pitcher is Justin Morales. You see his numbers last year at Tallahassee State College. He is entering his junior year at Bethune-Cookman. He's already pitched in 4 games for Bethune-Cookman. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts.
This is the extreme of what I'm talking about. Adjusting your mindset, changing your environment, and having an out-of-body experience, right? I mean, we've got a couple college players, and we've had some high school players and young, just really experiencing the moment.
The 2-1 hit on the ground to short, backhanded by Bogarts. Long throw across, and Profar can't snare it on the hop. Gonzalez aboard, and now the junior from Bethune-Cookman will face Fernando Tatis Jr. in a 9-1 ball game. .6'4" right-hander. They love his arm. He could be selected in the Major League Baseball draft this coming summer. But first, Fernando Tatis Jr. And no shade thrown to the SWAC or to the opponents in Tallahassee State College last year, but Justin Morales is taking a minor leap.
Yeah.
As far as who he's facing on the mound in this moment. 2-0 to Tatis.
One thing to watch, I mean, it may not happen in this particular game, but the rules of engagement for typical baseball are gone. You need to score runs. You never know how that's going to play. So piling on and getting as many runs as you can is not out of the norm here for the rules that are there for this tournament to be played under.
Well, the Netherlands knows that. They lost out on a chance a few years back to advance from pool play because they were a run short.
And run prevention is in there as well.
It is. The 3-0, and Tatis draws the walk. A 4-pitch walk to Tatis. And the 9th man to bat in the inning, Ketel Marte, comes to the plate.
I forget the time. It was a while back. There was some confusion. I think it had to be with Team Canada involved in a kind of the scenario there where it felt like it was piling on, but it really was advantageous for the team to score the runs because of the tiebreakers.
Well, it's certainly advantageous for the Dominican Republic to score runs here if they can, as the pitch is outside, and that's 5 straight out of the zone thrown by Morales, because now you're getting into the conversation about there is a mercy rule, or a run rule in the early rounds of the WBC. If you're up 15 after 5, the game is over. If you're up 10 after 7, the game is over. As the ball pops out of the glove of Trump, and advancing to third is Gonzalez on the pass ball.
And what it does is it shortens your bullpen usage because you don't have to eat up those innings. So these are the rules in play, and they've come in play a few times, but not as much over the time frame of this tournament. The countries have gotten better. There's more depth.
And we talked with Andrew Jones before the game about his team, and this felt like one of those try to survive games from a pitching standpoint.
Yeah, and you, again, come into the park, you're like, okay, here's what has to happen for us to have a chance.
The 2-0 to Marte, in the air to center field. Pretty well hit. Rafaela, though, can cover a ton of ground out there. Makes the catch. Tagging and scoring from third is Gonzalez. And it's a 10-1 lead for the Dominican Republic. Sacrifice fly for Marte, and now 2 gone.
Here's a scenario right here. You see the offense this inning. Pretty good, but this is the first pitch I would be worried about facing Soto. His first couple at bats, he usually takes pitches, sees what the hitter or pitcher has, but usually around the 3rd or 4th at bat, he looks to be more aggressive and jump on that first pitch fastball if he gets it.
Walked and scored earlier this inning. Runner at first with 2 out, and Soto looks at strike 1.
He got that breaking ball, so good first pitch.
Six runs on the board in this 5th inning. 1-1 to Soto. Six home runs in 2 games now for the Dominican Republic. Did Soto chase that one? He did not, and it's 2-1. Justin Morales, the 5th pitcher from the Kingdom of the Netherlands, trying to get out of this inning. And he fires a strike over the outside corner to Soto, and it's 2-2.
Not to mention, he's using different baseballs, by the way, in college.
Yeah, he is. Everything is different. Juan Soto's not at the plate. He's got a different baseball. The 2-2, breaking ball inside for ball 3. He's pitched for the Dutch national team in the World Cups, through a complete game and a win in the U23 World Cup against the Nicaraguan team. What a moment for him. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner will go from first. Crowd in a frenzy. The 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball is low, and now he's going to have to deal with Vlad Guerrero. Second walk that Soto has received this inning. Tatis to second. and Guerrero to the plate. He homered in the third. He's driven in 3 today. Off speed stays up for ball 1. Guerrero to right field. Long run for Jones. He'll run out of room, and it's fouled away. 1-1. Eight of the 10 Dominican Republic hitters have reached base in this inning. Guerrero trying to continue the pain here. The 1-1. Up the middle, backhanded by Ozzie Albies. That should do it for the inning, and it does. But the Dominican Republic sends 11 to the plate in the 5th inning. They score 6 runs in the 5th. And after 5, have a 10-1 lead. Welcome back to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on Fox, presented by Capital One with John Smoltz and Tom Verducci. I'm Kevin Kugler. A 10-1 advantage for the Dominican Republic as we move to the 6th inning. And some of the front runners in this World Baseball Classic, we've touched on these. Of course, Team USA loaded from a pitching standpoint, from a hitting standpoint. Japan, a ton of talent led by Shohei Ohtani. We've seen what the Dominican Republic can do in these 2 games. 22 runs already on the board. Don't sleep on this Venezuelan team. Some really good young talent, veteran like Salvi Perez in there as well. This will be a fun next week and a half. And of course, you'll be here to close things out with the championship games on the 17th, semifinals 15th and 16th of March.
Yeah, head to Houston and check out the USA team over the next 2 games. In good position, of course. Classic game with Mexico tomorrow night. And then as it unfolds, then the pressure cooker. Each game becomes an elimination game.
And the first pitch, a strike to Cedon Rafaela from Albert Abreu. That U.S.-Mexico game tomorrow night on Fox. Standing room only in Houston. That atmosphere is going to be electric. It's like we've seen really throughout. A walk-off home run in San Juan, Puerto Rico last night. 2 walk-off homers yesterday in a tournament that's never had one until yesterday. One ball, 2 strikes on Rafaela. Jones and Bogarts to follow here in the top of the 6th.
Now, in the past, a lot of these managers, or some of them, were able to get a job by managing their countries. Of course, Albert Pujols was in the running of a couple, and I wonder what the future holds for him after he uses this experience.
In the air to right, Tatis on the run near the line. He'll make the catch for the first out. Well, he has not been shy about expressing a very strong interest in managing. That's where he wants to be, right where he is right now, but in the dugout of a major league team.
And it's rarefied air for a guy like him. You know, most players who get to the Hall of Fame and have had the career he's had might steer away from this type of rigor and what it put your body through when you've had that long career. But yeah, he's definitely interested, and we'll see what happens.
Well, it's fascinating. Usually across all sports, it's hard for the greatest players to be able to coach other players because those players can't do what you could do.
That's exactly right. I mean, translation, communication, trying to get expectation to match everything is very difficult.
You know, if you're Albert Pujols, you can't just walk up to someone and say, well, just hit 700 home runs like I did. 1 ball, 2 strikes. on Drew Jones. Check swing roller to the right side and underneath the glove of Marte, and Jones will take his 4th hit of the WBC, a 1-out single in the 6th. MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week. Plus live radio broadcasts of every game, game day 3D, big inning, and minor league action. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Now Xander Bogaerts, a couple of fly balls to center for the Padre at the plate today. 1 ball, no strikes to the 33-year-old right-hander in his 4th World Baseball Classic. Native of Aruba, discovered at the age of 16. And is one of Aruba's favorite sons. Had the chance to be in Aruba a couple years ago, and there are Xander Bogaerts references throughout the city. There's stars on the walk recognizing Xander Bogaerts. In a country that's growing and growing in its love for baseball. Kingdom of the Netherlands, specifically Aruba, really embracing Xander Bogaerts.
And that's why this is important for some of these countries to really embark and stretch their sport.
The 3-0 is high, ball 4, and there's 2 on with 1 out in the 6th. And here comes Ozzie Albies. Just the 2nd Netherlands player to reach second base today as Jones takes the bag at 2nd, and here's Albies 1 for 2 with a single.
Well, the Atlanta Braves are hoping he can stay healthy. He's had so many freakish injuries, and last year was the story for the Atlanta Braves. Injuries all across their roster, and they're hoping he can do more of what he did last night and stay healthy and play second base for much over 100 games.
Yeah, last year it was the end of the year that left hamate bone broke. 2 years ago he had the broken toe, he had the fractured left wrist. He only played 99 games. Braves have the option on his contract after this year. This is an important year for Ozzie Albies as he pops this one foul. And now to play. For more on Ozzie, we check in with Tom Verducci.
It was a good indication of what this tournament means to these players. Ozzie Albies has been an all-star. He has won the World Series with the Atlanta Braves. Yesterday, he hit a home run in a half-empty ballpark against a semi-pro pitcher from Nicaragua, and yet he said that game-winning home run equals winning the World Series as the best moment of his career.
Well, and you could see it in the reaction. I mean, and we've seen that throughout this World Baseball Classic. These games mean so much to these guys representing their country, and the enthusiasm is off the charts, although that's a really strong statement to say that matches the World Series.
Well, when you bring everything into context, you know who you're playing tomorrow, which is today.
Right.
You know if they have any chance.
You had to win that.
You had to win that. You're down to your last out. It looked bleak, and all of a sudden, you know, now they have life, and not as much today, but they can still get in if they win and things fall their way.
Albies down on strikes, and there's 2 gone in the 6th. Well, this was that moment yesterday for Ozzie Albies, the moment that he says was better than winning the World Series.
I tell you, I mean, when I checked the scores, I was coming down here and I saw the 3 runs in the 9th inning, and I quickly looked to see how did they get them, and it didn't surprise me that this young man got that big hit. I just was shocked it was with 2 outs and a base open. But for Andrew Jones, his first win as a manager for, again, the country of what he's serving and what he's meant, I can understand that statement.
Here's Didi Gregorius, responsible for the only run of the day for the Netherlands with the home run.
I could say with all certainty. When people ask me about my favorite moment, I mean, there are a ton of moments that I can go to in the big leagues. It's in high school.
Really?
It's in high school. It's my last swing, but there's a long story that I won't get into. But so I can understand why he made that statement for the sentiment of what it means to him and his country. Winning a World Series is by far one of the greatest team accomplishments you could ever be part of, and everybody who gets a chance and lucky enough to win one will say that.
Swing and a miss. Didi Gregorius down on strikes. We'll see if we can't convince John Smoltz to tell a long high school story when we come back to Miami. Our game summary is sponsored by Capital One, and it's a lot of power. 2-run homer for Vlad Guerrero, 3-run homer for Junior Caminero, 2-run home run for Austin Wells, 2 home runs, 6 runs, 4 walks, and 4 for 5 at the plate for the DR in the 5th when they blew this thing open, a 6-run 5th inning. And now they go to work in the 6th against the veteran right-hander Kenley Jansen. And you look at Kenley Jansen in this situation with the idea of trying to keep this game going and avoid that 10-run rule after 7.
Yeah, and he can get his work in, and I believe the Team Netherlands has a day off tomorrow, right? So
yes,
they can reset Kenley for the final game they've got to play. But this is another story of what happens when you are young and play in this World Baseball Classic as another position, as in catcher.
A catcher turned pitcher in the World Baseball Classic. Kenley Jansen on the hill, and he starts off the at-bat of Manny Machado high for ball 1. You saw Josefa in left field taking over for Ray Patrick Ditter. Well, I mean, let's flash back to those days as a catcher. This is the 2009 World Baseball Classic. Look at Kenley Jansen behind the plate.
Got a cannon, as you can imagine. Big, lanky, not your prototypical size catcher. And then maybe the lack of bat got him in to being one of the best closers in the game.
Machado, a big rip and a miss. Well, you look at Kenley Jansen now versus then, and a lot of baseball has been played since that 2009 catching experience in the WBC. Made the transition to pitching right after that, made his MLB debut in 2010 on the mound. 4th in Major League history with 476 saves.
Yeah, it's incredible.
2-2 to Machado. Signed a 1-year deal with the Tigers back in December. You see those rankings: Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman, Lee Smith, and Kenley Jansen. He's likely going to pass the great Lee Smith early in this season.
As the unique delivery, big body with this cutter that can be invisible to the hitter because of that late movement.
The 3-2 pitch. Cold third strike. Machado thought he was headed to first. Instead, he's headed to the dugout. Jansen with the strikeout, and there's one away.
There's the example of what I was talking about. Late cut on the inside part of the plate, and it fooled Machado and did not fool the umpire.
By the way, just a capper on the Kenley Jansen as a catcher. As a hitter in that World Baseball Classic, he was 1 of 13, to your point about the bat maybe not being where the arm was. Here's Junior Caminero, first pitch swinging, and he skies this one in foul territory. Profar, the first baseman, will make the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. And it's Julio Rodriguez to the plate against Jansen.
Jansen now with the Tigers.
Yes.
And the Tigers signed Justin Verlander in what will probably be his last year, one would think. Making a return back to the Tigers. Pitching alongside Tarek Skubal. in what could be a pretty formidable rotation.
Could be one of your older combinations on the mound if Verlander's win is saved by Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, how about that?
Two of the greats to pitch in recent years teaming up with one of the bright young pitching stars of the game. Tigers team that's going all in this year. The 1-1. And it's inside ball 2.
Well, they were oh so close against the Seattle Mariners last year in an epic pitching duel. And really Seattle pulled off. They were so close to going on to the World Series. It was probably doubly frustrating for a team that now has the longest. They had the longest void coming in of winning a series, but boy, oh boy, last year was special.
Trying to add to that and stretch it out a little bit longer. Here's the 3-1. And Rodriguez takes ball 4. So a 2-out walk issued to Julio Rodriguez, and here comes Austin Wells, his last time to the plate, a 2-run home run in the 5th. Kenley Jansen going to match his manager's record, Andrew Jones, for the most seasons by a major leaguer born in Curacao. It'll be his 17th season in the big leagues this year.
Making a mistake by not holding on to Julio Rodriguez.
Right. That run means something. It means a 10-run lead if it comes around to score, which would mean the game would end at the end of the 7th inning. And if you're Rodriguez, you look to take second because nobody's paying attention to you. No movement on the 0-1 and a strike to Austin Wells. Quickly 0-2. A left-handed hitting Yankee catcher down 2 strikes. No movement at first from Rodriguez. The pitch high and away for a ball. Albert Pujols with a 10-1 lead. Rodriguez the lead at first. Jansen looks over there. Nobody to throw it to. I don't think Rodriguez is going to help him much over there. Wells in the air to center field. Rafaela calling off Josefa in left field, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Dominican Republic does not score. Still 10-1 through 6. 10-1 lead for the Dominican Republic over the Netherlands. MLB Together is baseball's platform embodying the sport's commitment to philanthropic causes and mental wellness efforts by teams, players, and the league. To learn more, scan the QR code or visit MLBtogether.com. Abner Uribe, the Milwaukee Brewer, on the mound to start the 7th inning. 3-2 record with 1.67 ERA in 75 games for the Brewers. Not a bad strikeout to walk ratio for Abner Uribe last year.
He's got an electric arm, and you're going to see fastballs coming out like it's shooting out of a cannon. Why the Brewers are so excited to have this young man.
And Uribe's first offering a strike to Clementina, Profar, and Trump to follow here in the 7th inning for the Netherlands. Swing and a miss. Outstanding. 100 miles an hour for Uribe. It is just outstanding stuff.
Yeah, pretty simple too. Right, when you have adrenaline in this format, you're always amped up a little bit more than maybe just a regular spring training game. We've already touched on that.
Wave and a miss, and Clementina down on strikes for the first out of the 7th.
But he looks in midseason form, coming out with 3 fastballs, saying, go ahead and try and hit it.
I mean, it's mainly that sinking fastball and that slider that he used last year.
Yeah.
That slider had a whiff rate last year of almost 50%.
Well, again, the talent pool is so good for Dominican Republic. They control the strike zone and the hitter's end. They're not striking out much. And you're seeing the evidence on the other side of the amount of strikeouts that this Netherlands lineup has had to endure because of the opposite on the mound for the DR.
Off the end of the bat, Uribe bats it down, scooped up by Wells. The throw to first not in time, and Profar beats it out. So Profar aboard with 1 out. And Polanco on the horn.
The old behind the back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Wells did all he could, but Profar able to beat it. So here's Chadwick Tromp, 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a ground out. And Tromp, a line drive to left. Soto drifting back, shy of the track. He'll make the catch. And there's 2 away. So Jakey Josefa at the plate. He came in defensively for Ray Patrick Ditter last inning, his first at bat of the afternoon. 0 for 1 in this WBC with a strikeout. Josefa in that Diamondback system. He was the late add when Jurickson Profar failed the PED test, and so from the Diamondbacks chain he got the call up to play for the Kingdom of the Netherlands after Profar left. $135-pounder at 6'2". Very young, just 21 years old. Signed to a minor league deal with the Diamondbacks in January of 2021. Born in Curacao, and the 1-1. Fouled back. He has played mainly in the Diamondback system at the Arizona Complex League. Got a chance at Single A in the 2025 season. Hit just .235, but he does have good speed. 26 stolen bases combined last year, but a strikeout here ends the 7th inning for the Netherlands. Time to stretch in Miami. 10-1 DR. Later today, the NASCAR Cup Series is on FS1 for some full throttle action from the Jewel of the Desert in Phoenix. It's the Straight Talk Wireless 500 today, 3 Eastern on FS1. New pitcher for the Netherlands, J.C. Subban, making his 4th WBC appearance in his career. 8 years in the minors, was a 30th round pick by the Reds in 2008. Made his WBC debut on March 9, 2009, when he came out of the bullpen and struck out Pudge Rodriguez on 3 pitches. It was his first batter he ever faced in the WBC, and pretty good way to debut. Eric Gonzalez on the ground to the left side. Xander Bogaerts the throw across, and there's 1 gone. We have reached the point of the game, John Smoltz, where a run by the Dominican Republic would end the game. It would be a 10-run lead in the 7th inning or beyond, and that would end the game. So you could have a rare 7th inning walk-off if you get a run in the 7th inning here. And a pinch hitter for Fernando Tatis Jr. as Junior Lake will come in to pinch hit. So Lake pinch hitting. Tatis's day is done. So Delano Celasa taking over in right field. The 0-1 to Lake. On the ground, left side. That's a foul ball. Crowd cheering, but all for naught for that foul.
Home plate umpire has that call till it passes third base, so he was all over that. Looking straight down the line.
Junior Lake, a late add to the Dominican roster after Johan Rojas was replaced on the roster with a PED test. So Junior Lake, former Chicago Cub legend, down 0-2. The opening day starter for the Cubs in left field back in 2014. Made his big league debut after the Cubs signed him in 2007, made it in 2013, and then had a hard time getting back to the big leagues. Last time he played in the big leagues was 2016, brief cup of coffee with Toronto.
Got a little pitch violation here.
So 2-2 the count on Lake. Still 2-2. Ketel Marte on deck for the Dominican Republic. Up 10-1 in the 7th. Breaking ball foul. Still 2-2 to Junior Lake. Well, you're going to look at some, as this World Baseball Classic goes on, John, you're going to see some prolific offenses trying to figure out how to slow the other down. The Dominican offense, the U.S., Japan, all have put up a lot of runs as Lake is called out on strikes, and there's 2 gone in the 7th. And the team that can figure out how to shut the other down is going to have a massive leg up in this thing. Because these are potent offensive squads that we have seen through the early stages of pool play. Marte was sac fly RBI his last time up in the 5th. And Subban with a strike. JC Subban, the last 5 years pitched in the Netherlands, 40-8 record with a 1.90 earned run average and 360 innings pitched. The 0-2 to Marte. Now 1-2. And time called by Marte. Still 1-2 on Ketel Marte. Diamondbacks All-Star last year, won the Silver Slugger Award for the 2nd time. Really had a nice season for Arizona.
By the way, I don't think Shohei Ohtani ever turns it off.
No, I don't think he does either.
I mean, just to show up after the World Series and then just first 2 games, just grand slam, nothing but hits.
People understand what we're seeing, right? Like a generational, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime baseball player in Shohei Ohtani?
I would think so. I think what I watched in Yamamoto, though, was the most impressive pitching performance I've ever seen. I know Bumgarner and what he did for San Francisco was equally as impressive, but man, oh man.
Yeah. The 3-2 is high, and Marte works the walk. And this crowd, in the midst of doing the wave, will look out and see Juan Soto coming to the plate. One swing away from ending this ball game. Subban on the mound to face Juan Soto. 0 for 2 this afternoon. Marte at first. Soto, first pitch swinging. High fly ball. Deep right center field. The Dominican Republic wins it. On a 7th-inning walk-off home run from Juan Soto. And a 12-1 run rule win.
Well, 3rd or 4th at bat. I said, watch out for that first pitch. First pitch, 4th at bat, game over.
It doesn't happen often, but a rare 7th-inning walk-off in Miami. And a 12-1 final for the Dominican Republic. And this is going to be one special team to watch through this World Baseball Classic.
They are. They're confident. They're talented. They got a Hall of Fame manager, and they can score some runs.
More from Miami in a moment with the Dominican Republic winning it in 7 innings. 12-1 the final over the Netherlands. Severino, the victory. We'll have more from Miami when we return on Fox. $12-1 win for the Dominican Republic in 7 innings. Tom Verducci is down on the field with a couple of very happy members of the Dominican Republic squad.
Teamwork, a rare 7th-inning walk-off home run. Were you aware that a home run would end the game before that at bat?
Yeah, I was aware. I mean, Pujols wanted to take me out before that inning. I was like, no, man, I'm staying in. We got to finish this game. We got to finish it. And I came up with a big at bat, and I just finished it, man.
Ron, this team in 2 games has almost as many home runs as strikeouts. I can only imagine. How'd that feel?
That feels really good, man.
I can't imagine what it's like to pitch to this lineup, but what's it like to be part of this lineup?
I mean, it's great, man. We have each other's back, you know. I missed in the first inning, you know, but then we have Vladdy, we have guys like Machado, we have those guys in the lineup that I trusted every time. So it's really fun to play in a lineup like this.
Thanks so much, Juan. Good luck the rest of the way. Vlad Guerrero, you have hit 183 home runs in your career. This is the first with República Dominicana on your chest. What does that mean for you?
This means a lot, you know. When I hit that ball and I took second, I start crying a little bit, you know. It's a lot of feeling going on here. For me, it's very, very special. Today, I came here, and I don't know if I want to play because I was a little bit sick. So, and then I say, let's do this. Let's do it for Dominican Republic, and let's go out there and have fun.
How do you feel now?
I feel great.
Vladdy, your manager, Albert Pujols, calls this a dream team. We know the talent around this team, but what's it like to be part of this group?
I think it's great, man. To me, we no got no egos here. You know, everybody here, like we say, everybody here is rich. You know, and we play for the fans, for the city. I think for me, play for my country. I put my ego back and try to do my job. You know, as of now, this is one of the experiences that are always going to be in my heart. And to me, it's like, see these people, see this crowd is something that I can explain.
And there's more to come, Vladdy. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you. A 12-1 win for the Dominican Republic with a 7th-inning walk-off. Brian Colucci is our producer. Dustin Denti, our director, and our entire Fox Sports crew. Thank you so much for being with us. For John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, and that terrific crew that we have in Miami, this is Kevin Kugler saying so long from Miami. The final score, Dominican Republic 12, the Netherlands 1. Now you'll see MLB top postseason moments of 2025.